Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness. Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast.
Absolutely. I'm a trained neuroscientist. So my tools are not just coming from spirituality, they're actually coming from science. Like the breath that we just did was called the physiological sigh. I have many other somatic and spiritual integrated tools that have actually been backed by science and cognitive behavioral therapy.
I want to invite you into the Business Network, my free school community for entrepreneurs and business owners who want to grow their network and scale their business. Inside, you'll get step-by-step lessons, monthly workshops, feedback, scripts, resources, bonuses, and a community of like-minded people who believe in helping each other win. Join us today at school.com/thebusinessnetwork or click the link in the description and click Join Group. I'll see you inside.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and you like magnets? You know what a magnet is? We're going to talk about that in your body, your life, how magnetism and magnets and energy can really change your life. It's been talking to the guest for about 10 minutes before the show. I'm on fire right now. I'm not screaming and yelling because I'm doing a podcast, but my insides are screaming and yelling because she's taught me some things already, so get a pad and paper out. Before we start, here's our gratitude for today. There's only one of you, and you are important. And that ties into our podcast. It's amazing I pull these cards out because you're only one of you. You need to handle your magnetism, your energy, your focus, all that. Whether you're a multi-billionaire or just starting out, it's all the same. So let's bring our guest on. Grace, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm honored to be here with you.
Well, magnetism leads to impact. That's the equation in my eyes. What's the greatest impact you've made so far in your life as of today?
The greatest impact I've made is changing the lives of my clients who are also my students. They're able to show up from a place of aligned service, from having a regulated nervous system. So from that regulated nervous system, they can actually give and receive in equal measure.
And that's important to have the yin and yang. That's what I call it. Why is that so important?
Well, it's so important because when we do business from a servant's heart, sometimes we can overgive and then actually end up overgiving and then literally becoming empty vessels ourselves. And then our health suffers and our business suffers. And also our relationships suffer as well. And so from using my methodology and using all the support that I've had over the years from coaches and healers, I learned how to regulate my own nervous system so that I can give from an overflowing source.
Great thoughts. And I get asked this all the time. What's the first step I need to take to receive? Because a lot of people are great at giving. That receiving part's hard for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, the first step to receiving is to balance your nervous system and actually listen to your own inner wisdom and your own inner parts. And I teach this with the G part of my Grace Magnetic methodology, which is ground. So go outside, put your feet on the earth, feel the sunshine on your face, and find moments of gratitude and really start to actually receive the love that's all around you. And fill your own cup and vessel first, and then move on to self-forgiveness.
Well, let's talk about the method. You mentioned it a couple times already. Describe and tell us what this method is all about.
Sure. So Grace Magnetic Methodology is 5 parts from my name. G is for ground. And so I already mentioned how when we can ground, we can actually become this neural circuitry based system where we connect to the earth and actually end up giving from the unlimited resources from the earth herself. The next step is R for release. And once again, in order to actually give, we really need to let go of all the things that we're holding on that are keeping our nervous system in a fight, a flight, a freeze, or even a fawn kind of mode. So really letting go of all of those shame, doubt, blame, and fear mechanisms that have been keeping us trapped in a survival mode. Next is awaken, A. And so that's when we can actually awaken to our own internal gifts. And there are gifts in the shadow. Once we've released our shadow, there's actually the golden shadow. And then we can awaken to those internal gifts. Then we move on to C, create. We can actually create and give from an overflowing source of energy and abundance. And finally, E is embody. And that's when all of those methods are actually in alignment and we can be serving from our divine purpose and really embodying. And that's when we become fully magnetic and attract aligned opportunities, your soul level clients, your soulmate relationships, and becoming the person that you were meant to be. Like you were saying, there's only one unique you, and that's who we deserve as the universe to receive.
It's powerful, and you got to thank your parents for naming you Grace, because those are a great acronym. It's beautiful. Steve would not work with that, so Grace is perfect, and I love that. Alignment is another thing I talk to a lot of people about. That's hard to achieve. How do you help your clients achieve that?
Through the methodology, through the different processes. Then it becomes such a, like, daily practices is really what it boils down to, is the integration. So I lead retreats, I host ceremonies, but I've really transitioned my work to a student teacher model where I take students for the rest of my life, that they have access to me, and then I can help them find that alignment from within. And then they're able to actually cultivate it through daily practices and integration. And through that daily practices, that's what actually becomes your toolkit and also your sadhana, your spiritual practice from which you're able to resource day in and day out. And from that point, then you can really start to feel a sense of belonging to yourself, to your own life, to your path, to your purpose. And business becomes sustainable rather than draining you.
Right. And accountability is a big thing, and that's how you do it with people with life. They have availability to you, because we go off the rails all the time. We're human. We're fallible. We're going to do different things that are going to take us off the rail. Tell us the story of how you help somebody be accountable, because I think that's important for people to hear, because that's the big part of this. You can't be on my shoulder you can be, but you can't be there sitting with me every day. You'd love to be, because I can tell you have a big heart. That's just not possible. Tell us a great story of accountability with somebody you work with.
Absolutely. So something that I usually work with my clients, especially business leaders, is sleep. So I'm a trained psychologist, and so I do actual cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia and for sleep. And so sleep hygiene is one of the most pillars of our health, of our vitality. And so I help people be accountable by creating great bedtime routines. And then they can actually text me the next day and ask me, like, well, how else can this work? How can this get better? And so the accountability process is important. But I think what's even more overarching is having a coach who believes in you, who holds you in a vibration of unconditional love. So that means that when you do fail, when you do mess up, when something isn't working, that it's okay, because there's an unconditional loving energy of forgiveness, so that we're not trying to be 100% better by tomorrow, just 1%, moment by moment.
I love that you said that, being okay. I had a guest on last year, and I forgot his name, and I apologize. You know who you are. He talked about being human for 12 hours. Like, I lost a $20 million contract. That's huge. But he called me and he said, text me, I believe, and said, just be human, be upset, go eat pizza. I don't drink beer, but, just go crazy for 10 hours, which I did. Next morning I woke up, and I've seen other people, sounds like what you do, get back on that horse is the old phrase, and start going. Do you help people get back on that horse?
Sometimes the horse needs a time to rest. So nervous system regulation, right, is all about balancing, like you said, the yin with the yang. And we live in a very yang kind of environment. So that's a lot of sympathetic arousal. Go, go, go. Don't look back at your achievements. Just set the next goal. That is a great recipe for burnout. And entrepreneurs and CEOs have all experienced this. We're more likely to die from heart attacks than any other profession, right? Because we are burning ourselves out. So it's not about getting back in the horse. It's actually sometimes about letting that horse actually rest and go to pasture, drink some water, eat some grass, and find that balanced nervous system before you keep going, right? And create that last parts of my methodology. You can't embody and create until you ground and release.
I love the water and the grass. Great analogy. That's beautiful. Nervous system. You said something before the show. This is the big part of the audience. If you're not listening, listen now, because this is the game changer. How do I serve my nervous system as me as an individual? Not others, but Steve, Ramona, or Grace. How do we serve that?
Yeah, so I have a quick tool we can share, actually, to ground out and orient. So this will only take about 90 seconds. So put your feet flat on the earth, hold your neck still, roll your shoulders back, close your eyes, and slowly open your eyes. Look to the left without moving your neck, look to the right, look above, look below, and then take the whole room in. Now, name something that you see, something that you taste, something that
Coffee.
you smell, something
The
that
wind
you
blowing.
feel.
Calm. Oh, I don't know, but that's what I've calmed down in 90 seconds. Not
And
that I
one
was
more
stressing
part, and then one last part is breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Take another deep sip at the top and let it go through the mouth.
It's a game changer. You're getting me all excited here because I started Tai Chi 8 weeks ago, and I've never felt better. And breathing is a big part of it. And it's such a simple exercise. Why do you think people don't stay with that exercise?
I think that when we are maxed out and stressed and burnt out, we don't have capacity to learn something new. And that's why working with a coach and being like having me believe in you and borrowing that belief and that energy and getting you to actually calm and feel held can actually help you to build capacity to learn new tools. But I'm not just about learning new tools, right? It's about applying them when your nervous system is actually ready.
Yeah, it's mechanic has a toolbox, never use the tools, and never fix a car, and never make any money, and never grow. It's as simple as that. Because breath work, I get asked all the time, you started Tai Chi in the last 8 weeks, and I used to do that breath work. So I hear a lot, about 50% of people are like, oh, that's great, I used to do that. I'm like, okay, used to, and you liked it, but stop doing it. So there's an obstacle there, a block, right? And is that a nervous system block or a mindset block or a combination?
It's basically when you're just trying to learn things and come from the place in the head. right? You can believe and you can have all the insight, and that won't actually change your behavior. So again, when we come back to grounding and releasing and making space, then we can actually talk to those parts that are in resistance, that are in fear, because people are afraid to slow down and to face themselves. I used to have a very dysregulated nervous system that was based in a lot of fear. And even though I would learn all these tools, I wouldn't do them, right? Then it came to having coaches, having healers, developing my methodology. Then I was able to apply it and develop this sadhana, this spiritual practice, this energy hygiene, this routine that really, again, holds and sustains me throughout my day, throughout my years, so that I can actually reverse age, create more longevity, and then give from an overflowing source of abundant energy.
A lot of older, successful business owners listen to my podcast, male and female. You just said two words that are very, very important: reverse age. Explain that a little more.
Absolutely. A lot of aging has a negative connotation, right? We think that aging, actually, we lose our value, we lose our vitality, but that's actually a story that gets told to feed capitalism and consumerism. But if we can have a miraculous mindset, connecting to God, connecting to the universe, connecting to these different tools, then actually we can become healthier as we become older and wiser.
And your tools and the Grace method, that's what's going to help you connect to this environment, to God, to the spirituality that people need. So I'm thinking, when people run into burnout, because everybody's going to run into it, or an obstacle, like I just told you what happened last year, those things happen in life. You have these wonderful tools. I could go text, let's say it's a text, Grace, just to happen, how do I breathe or whatever. You'll answer that question or utilize some of those tools. Okay, Steve, go to R or A, whatever it may be, and away we go.
Absolutely. I'm a trained neuroscientist. So my tools are not just coming from spirituality, they're actually coming from science. Like the breath that we just did was called the physiological sigh. I have many other somatic and spiritual integrated tools that have actually been backed by science and cognitive behavioral therapy. And so essentially, this isn't just woo, right? This is actually the integration of East and West, because we're not just bodies, we're actually souls.
So somebody goes, oh, that's just woo-woo, Grace, it doesn't work. We can say there's science backing this up now, where it wasn't before. I know 10 years ago, I didn't see anything and I didn't study it, so I can't say. So you're saying now it's all backed by science? A lot of it, not all of it.
It's starting to be, absolutely. I also integrate practices with psychedelics and with plant medicine. So the science is showing that with psilocybin, for instance, you can actually heal and cure lifelong depression, fibromyalgia, illnesses that have really not been touched with antidepressants. And as someone who has experience in psychiatry, this is so beautiful. This is so wonderful. I'm here in Colorado, where it's legal to actually work with someone like me in a ceremonial setting and receive incredible healing, because it actually integrates the whole of you rather than just the parts that would be addressed through talk therapy and the mental realm.
So you're trying to get rid of the drugs in the health industry, in a sense. Getting people off
I'm
those
not
drugs.
trying to get rid of necessarily anything, right? It's just,
okay,
we have these tools and they keep expanding. And that means the tools are actually gifts from Pachamama. They're gifts from Mother Earth. These plants have co-evolved with us in order to help us heal and in order to help us to be in co-regulation with our community more than ever before. And that's what they're here to do.
With your method, can you tell us a story of a client you work with and the incredible benefits they got?
Yeah, absolutely. So lately I've been connecting what I do to business growth and revenue. I had a client who is a very powerful senior technology officer, and he stuttered. He had He was trapped in a codependent patterned relationship, was lacking confidence, didn't ask for a raise. And then within 6 months of working with me, his stutter disappeared. His sleep improved, tracking with scientific Aura ray technology. And he was able to actually ask for and get this raise that he's been wanting for 5 years.
Wow. Not only healthier, his bank account increased too. That's a wonderful story. And that always leads to your better, healthier money and abundance. I call it abundance because it's a better word, whether it be money, time, or whatever that you're getting back is powerful. We're coming close to the end here. What's something you haven't mentioned that you want to tell the audience to really help them out?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that your presence speaks before your words. So if your conversations aren't converting, you don't need more strategy. You need a regulated nervous system. So I would love to help your audience, and they're free to book a call for 30 minutes with me. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I would love to support and serve and have a great conversation.
We'll get our contact information here in a minute. That's a wonderful offer, audience. And if you don't take advantage of it, I'm not going to say that word. You just should take advantage of it. But we'll get the contact information here in a minute. And I like that, because if you can prove something like that, people need proof. There's so much out there, so much noise. Yeah, you sound great, Grace, but I heard that with 10 other people. You actually meet with people and go through some of this and show them here, like you just did on the show today with me, how you can calm me down in 90 seconds. And my wife's going to be very happy that you did that. On a side note, because I got a lot of energy. Let's end with a fun question. Let's know Grace a little deeper. So I'm going to come out to Colorado. You're going to pick your favorite restaurant. I'm going to want you to invite 3 people, whether dead or alive, who've made a major impact in your life. For me, I want you to order food for the table. What would that food be?
Okay, amazing. So the food I would order is the sashimi plates, and the restaurant is here in Boulder. It's called AOI Sushi. It's a local, very authentic Japanese restaurant, and I would order a couple of rolls and the fried chicken that's gluten-free as well. And
wow,
legitimately, I have a spiritual experience every time I eat that fish. I become one with the fish. So I would lead everyone through a holistic tantric activation where we become one with the fish, because we're very far from the ocean here. And so to be able to connect with Mother Water and the ocean is such a blessing.
Yes. Who would you invite?
Well, I would invite you, of course, Steve. Because
I would be there. Yeah, we would have a great time. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would also invite my personal coach, Leela Veronica, who introduced us. She's fabulous. And yeah, Veronica as well, and Vanessa. And also, yeah, I mean, let's see who else. And I would probably invite one of my favorite singer and producers, Dea Dova, who is one of my major role models as well.
Powerful. What a table. I'd just be happy to shut up and listen and learn from, especially the 2 ladies that I know. What a wonderful, wonderful group. Well, thank you for spending the time, being an incredible guest. I know people are listening because you gave us a little piece of what you do. How can they connect with you and take advantage of the 30 minutes?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Grace Tzofia with the Tzofia, or just go straight to my booking link, gracesophia.com/inner-mastery.
And I'm going to do something for the audience for Grace. She's writing a book. We didn't get too into it because she's still writing it, but we'll put you in credit. If the first 5 people reach out to me or Grace and mention this podcast, I'm going to send you her book when it comes out for free. So amazing. Now you get her at your, imagine you're on my nightstand, my coffee table, my kitchen. I have access to you 24/7. And that's the power of books. And the book she's writing, you've got to get it. It's just be unbelievable. And we'll get that information out as the book comes out. Grace, thanks again for a wonderful podcast. Audience, share this out. If you're talking to people and they're having these problems that she mentioned, burnout, nervous system regulation, all this, send them the podcast, because to me, they're gifts. She just gave us a gift today for 20 minutes that could change people's lives. And then they connect with her maybe, and they change their lives even more. The big word is impact. So share, subscribe, And let's get this podcast out there and get this information out there. Let's change people, because it's a beautiful thing. With that being said, me and Grace want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.